sending the energy, and it'll plateau. It's sort of like that's as much empty force as I can produce and affect you. Where if it was physical, I can sort of dig in a bit deeper, and vital, I can dig in a bit deeper and get a bit more, I can squeeze a bit more power out. So that plateau with the amount of empty force I can produce, now if you come in and okay, I just developed a bit more seasoned stick to you so that that energy has more to hit. So I had to do a little bit more mapping, and I had to put a bit of energy onto you to latch onto your body so my energy has something to interact with, and the empty force can make you fly a bit further. So this plateau, when you get to it, you figure out, how do I get it to work more? Now, putting seizing energy on is cheating, really, because I'm putting my energy into you and then I'm hitting you with my energy. So it's kind of like I'm not mapping you more effectively. And martially, you'd have to do that very fast to use it. It's sort of like, oh, let me touch you and then put some energy, and now I can make empty force work. In martial situation, that's not real. But in a partner learning process like this, it is. So there's a lot of ways you can get more out of the exercise. But when you plateau, it's like, oh, what do I have to do? Do I have to do better mapping skill? Do I have to produce more volume, accelerate a little bit more, produce a bit more of an element, maybe a bit more air element to float them and open them up a little bit more? When a person's in an air element state, less energy is needed to bounce them further than if they're, let's say, if they're in an earth element state. So you may want to dissolve the earth element. And this is going to come back to, what are your goals? If your goals are about learning more about the Hermetics, then all that's applicable. If it's how to be better at the martial skill, then you'd spend more time integrating the timing for martial applications and wrestling drills and submission exercises and all that type of stuff. You'll be putting that in with a greater emphasis. So you'll steer it accordingly. Empty force is kind of one of those pinnacle skills that they look at in martial arts, but it's very difficult to do to a person you haven't mapped. Once I've mapped your system and I know you well, then my energy is going to be able to hit you well. But to mentally transfer to a person you've never touched, unconsciously map them, and then energetically put that energy in to hit that map to bounce them without touching them, that's a fairly high-level mental transference skill, and you've got to be pretty good. And you've got to be radiating energy across a much wider spectrum than normal. Like when I touch you, I just put energy where I need to put energy. If I hadn't mapped you, it'd be, oh, I've got to put energy in a really big spectrum to be able to affect you. So it's a big ask to be able to use a lot of this stuff on a complete stranger you've never met before. And you'll notice every time you touch someone new, what do you start doing? You start feeling them out. You map and go, oh, that's where their tension is. That's what I have to influence. And you have this unconscious process of getting to know how to energetically influence them. And I think this is one area where we differ to other schools, is that I'm teaching this for Hermetics. I'm not really teaching it for martial arts. That's just incidental that most of my audience is martial artists, because I used to be involved in martial arts. These days it's more, how do you learn about the mind, the energy system, the body, and how to evolve? So the goals are substantially different. I don't actually care about martial arts or success and failure in touching someone. To me, success and failure, when I touch someone, is, did I learn something? I did, I succeeded. It's not a matter of, did I bounce them? I really don't care if I bounce them. All I care is, did I evolve with my understanding of what I'm doing? So the success and failure thing in most people is, oh, you can bounce them or you can't. Well, if you're a fighter, that might be relevant, but if you're involved in personal development, it's your measurement is your learning. And if you get into that type of psychology, then you very quickly realize that what you have to do to learn is very, very different to what you have to do to succeed in bouncing someone. You've got to slow everything down, do more mapping, pay more attention to what your awareness is, information is receiving, opening the awareness more. Because the more easily I can map you, the more easily I can map myself and find resonance within me and release for ascension. So it's a different type of objective. All right, I hope that answers your question. Let's keep going.